Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online and welcome back also to Jita. In today's video I'm taking you guys on a blueprint copy run. This is something that I do maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and it is basically trying to sell as many blueprint copies as possible for ISK. This is one revenue stream that I get from my own installations because I create these in the research Raitaru, and there actually get pretty good prices, just a couple of 10,000 ISK in order to create these copies. So it's actually pretty good ISK right there. The reason I'm actually making the video is because the contracts have changed a little bit. So let's start with putting the blueprint copies that I've produced into the item hanger. You can see that I have a decent backlog now. I have a pretty big library of blueprint copies that I still need and want to get rid of for ISK. But eventually I think most of these will sell between 3 and 4 million when it comes to the structured blueprint copies, or the parts at least. So that should all work out. Of course, by far the most productive, the best blueprint copies are those of the structures themselves. Strauss, Raitaru, those are still selling at really decent prices from time to time. Now, what has changed though in the blueprint copy business is that they have CCP has allowed us to increase the duration of a contract up to 4 weeks. That's double the time, and this actually does change the dynamics of the blueprint copy business and of the contract business, the contract market quite a little bit, because it is very different to only have 2 weeks and to only have to compete with other people during 2 weeks compared to almost an entire month. So this is actually a change that I think was introduced in the game during the April release. I do remember reading a post about it, but then I forgot all about these changes, and it's only a couple runs ago that I suddenly remembered, hey, wasn't there a change to the contracts, to the duration? And it turns out that yes, indeed, rather than having contracts limited to 2 weeks, you can now go up to 4 weeks. So let's take a look at that. Let's use the Strauss blueprint copy. Since those sell the best, I tend to go for these first when it comes to my selling. So before I actually do that, I usually just go to my front page of contracts, and you can see now that I have sold 4 contracts since the last time I came here. I can create 4 new contracts right now in order to try and make some ISK out of these blueprint copies. Now, 4 contracts, it's not a lot, and it is definitely lower than my average. I think usually I do manage between 5 and 10 sales, but I do think that the 4-week contracts are also starting to actually have an impact on this. So let's get started. I know that I can create 4 contracts. So first of all, we'll do find in contracts, especially with the more expensive and more, I would say, uniquely available. It's not like if anyone can pump out as many Strauss blueprint copies as they want, just like that. More difficult to produce blueprint copies. Do check the local market to see what kind of a price you can ask for this. It's something that I always do for these blueprints, and we can see here in Jita Station, and a Strauss blueprint goes for 6.38 million, 640 for the next one, then quite a few at 650. So this is a price range that we could try to sell at, but at this point, of course, you have to decide, what am I going to do? Do I want to compete with these guys but try to get as much ISK out of this copy as I can, or do I want to try and make the sale go much more quickly as possible? That's actually what I want to do for this one. So then I create my contract, and I'm actually going to put this one up for 5.9 million. So this is a price that should guarantee a sale within 24 hours. And the reason I'm undercutting the rest of the market by this much is because I know that I have a second one that's coming out tomorrow. So my timings are not really very strict. You know, I don't come here every 2 days or every 3 days. It depends a little bit on what I'm doing. And as a result, now I know that there's a second blueprint copy that's coming. So I would like to get rid of this one today, and then tomorrow I'll probably put one up at like 637 or something like that. That's the way I handle these blueprint copies. Now, when it comes to the other structured blueprints, I usually put these up for just 3.5, 3.9 million, and they usually sell. But as I've said, things have changed a little bit. and I basically feel like I'm forced a little bit to go and take a look at the state of the market. So let's start, for instance, here with the structure market network blueprint. 1.43 million. But these are for one-run copies. But what we can see here is that there's actually not that many of them. I'm surprised. Here with the 20 million, that's quite a few of those for a 7-run. Okay, interesting. And here 3.2, what kind of, that's also for a 1-run copy. And then 7.99 for a 5-run copy. This is probably the ones that we want to compete with. So I'm actually going to put well, just one of them. I tend to spread this out so I can try to make, to not flood a single market. Let's say 7.5 million. I have the patience for this one. I think it should be possible. It's 1.5 million per run, which is actually a decent amount of ISK, but the structure market network blueprint does tend to sell a little better than the other ones. And the big change here is that it is 4 weeks. Why is this such a big change? I feel much less comfortable firing and forgetting the blueprint copies here, and the reason is you have to compete with some of those really cheap ones, not for 2 weeks but for 4 weeks. Before this change I could put this up, let's say that there was, you know, here it's only 2 of these. I could try to put this up for 9.5 million or 9.9 million ISK, and then just wait for these 2 to get triggered to go away in 10-11 days. Usually it would be like maybe 1 week, 6 days or something like that. And now with the 4-week 4-week contracts, it takes a lot more time for all that other competition to be gone from the market. And there's more that comes back all the time. So there's just, I think, more contracts up for longer periods of time, more problems for people that want to get rid of them quickly in these trade hubs, because competition basically has increased. So let's put this one up right here. That should sell. Then let's take one of the common ones, like the structure construction parts, and let's do that one. Finding contracts. Again, I only look in the station. That's really what we're competing with. But yeah, there we go. 399, 4 million, 7.5 million, 10 days left on them. But here, some of these are coming in here 24 days, 20 days. And this is where the problems tend to start, because I would like to be able to sell within a week or something like that when I'm putting up these contracts. It's not always that easy, but 399, I actually feel like these are okay. These are also only 1-run parts, really weird. So, and 4 million, that's not something we have to look at. 6 runs though for 7 million. And so this one, you know, I think before the change, there would have been a very high chance that the days remaining would be like less than a week or something like that. Then you could just disregard this one, but I can't disregard this 7 million for 6 runs anymore. Nobody's going to be willing to pay 2.5 million per run of this blueprint copy. Thus I have to set my price, I think, between this one and this one to get a quick sale. So I'm actually going to try something like maybe just straight up 5 million for this one. 1 million per run. You know, I think that's a nice round number, not too much, definitely compared to the rest of the market. This should sell pretty quickly, because as you can see, that's what I need. I have a lot of this stuff remaining. And then I think we can do a couple more. Let's take a quick look at this one. 2 million here for 7-run copies. Okay, this market is definitely tanked, and here I think this is becoming even more of an example. People are forced into the 2 million ISK for 5, 6, 7-run copies because of this one guy that's putting up a 2.5 million order, and that one now has 25 days left rather than a maximum of 14 weeks. So this is going to block and have been blocking the price of this blueprint copy. This market entirely will have been dominated by this one sell order right here at 2.5 million for much longer, basically forcing us into an undercutting situation. So if I want to sell one of these, I'll just do it now. Normally I would probably wait out and try for something else, but I would have to go for 1.9 million to try and trigger a sale because it's under 2 million. But this is the state of the blueprint copy business because of those 4 weeks in JITA, in the JITA station, and probably in the other trade hubs as well. You have a lot more competition staying on the board for a lot longer, so you will have to adapt your your own sell orders and your dynamics when it comes to running this blueprint copy business. For me, it means sometimes much more aggressive undercutting to get rid of the inventory that I'm constantly producing. Now, a second side effect, I've not done any exploration on this, but my theory should be that these longer contracts do open up, or should open up, more opportunities outside of the trade hubs, because a single contract will now provide you with basically an opportunity to sell a certain blueprint copy or whatever it is for 4 weeks at the same time. So it's a bit more of, I can put this up and hope that within 4 weeks an interested party notices it and picks it up, let's say in detail close to Providence. If they happen to want or need more structures, then that is a tactic that I could try. So far I just haven't done it, but I am starting to feel the impact of this change within the trade hubs. It is becoming more and more difficult to move inventory in large numbers, to have those quick sales. Sometimes I had like 10 sales on a single day, which is stuff that is very difficult to do now. The market has changed a lot by this one little change, doubling, well, it's not that little, it's 100%, but doubling the time that a contract can stay up does have a pretty big impact. We can also see, I think, from 11 days, 12 days, that some people haven't noticed yet, which is still to our advantage, of course, because those guys do go through their contracts twice as fast as we do, but more and more people are going to notice, and this market is basically going to slow down because of that in the trade hubs. In my opinion, there's going to be more competition, more undercutting, more contracts to browse through, and as a result it's going to be harder and harder to get rid of stuff quickly unless you go for crazy prices, almost giving them away for free. It's definitely a major change, and something that I think anyone that deals with contracts needs to be aware of and needs to be careful of as well, because your best opportunities may no longer lie in the trade hubs like Jita. So bringing all of this stuff here may actually turn out to be a bit of a mistake. I'm going to keep exploring that. I'll see if I can actually trigger some sales. Maybe we'll start with half the contracts, or maybe just 3 contracts somewhere else. I'll take a look at the other trade hubs as well. But it is definitely a changing market at the moment, due to a change that I hadn't kept up with as closely as I should have. So that's going to be it for this video. Lots about the contracts. Hopefully this can be helpful for you guys as well. And one quick note as well, in the previous video, a couple of comments said that the audio was very low. I noticed I reduced the microphone there by like 30% because on my end, I keep having background noise from the recording PC, from fans and stuff like that. But if it's really too low, then this one is back at 100%. And let me know in the comments, if you're still around up to this point, what you prefer in the audio, or what your experience is with the audio of the video. I know it's extremely important, and I'm actually trying to find the right balance between high volumes, not too much gain, so that I don't pick up too much from the background and things like that. So all your comments are definitely appreciated on that, and I'm trying to keep those in mind as well. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.